All right, welcome everybody to Fight Legends Dev Update number 22. As always, I'm here with lead dev on the project here, Dalen Dizzley. How you doing, man?
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, after recovering from the virus I had the other week, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
doing a lot better.
Yeah, I don't know. The little ones will do that to you. They'll bring
Mhm.
it.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you recovered, and have always, of course, I know you've been hard at work, even, being in there sick over there. So,
Mhm.
it never stops, and we've got cool things to show y'all. So let's jump right in and show everyone a little bit. Obviously, you guys have been working on the lobby environment. What we're
Yep.
going to look at right here is a placeholder, but we're doing all kinds of cool things with the player emotes, and obviously are working on the lobby. So tell us a little bit more about what we're watching and the updates to the
Mhm.
lobby and things like that. Let people be.
Yeah, nice. So basically, the open world lobby, we're like moving into early testing. We're doing the network testing between the fighting, like moving from the lobby through to the fighting. So obviously, two separate sort of systems. Where in the future, we're basically wanting to merge them so that we're all using the same network layer. But right now, we're just using sort of two separate systems, but they're still able to work between. We've got some basic customization for the player avatars. Right now, it doesn't save, so you can sort of test out just the different. Every time you log in, you'll be able to test out the different outfits. But eventually, that'll be once we actually implement it, that'll be like a locked in, like choose your name, choose your outfit, and that'll be the avatar that you have by default.
Okay.
Like we've mentioned in a previous stream, that'll be sort of superseded, or not superseded, but like you'll have your default avatar, and then you'll have a player avatar, like NFT, and then you'll be able to equip, and then that'll actually be a skin or like override the default one. We've got nameplates in the lobby now, so you can see who it is that you're running around with and challenge them, etc. Like that. Again, we'll be expanding that and having a sort of a friends feature. And like a list of all the people in the lobby and things like that, so we can start to actually get our social sort of platform side of the UI like starting to come into play. We'll have obviously you can challenge other players in the lobby or other NPCs. This will also again be expanded once we've got the back end figured out, where you'll be able to gain points or do different there'll be sort of daily achievements that you can do, like fight and win X amount of times in a row, or do this many fights, or challenge, do challenge modes, things like that.
Right.
You'll be able to get fight points for that and then wager it against other players, hopefully. So that's something we're implementing it coming down the line, as soon as we get all this sort of tested and ready, and then we can move on to the next sections. Like you said, it's a placeholder environment still, so we're still working on the layout of the environment at the moment in the design to sort of redesign it into what we want it to be. It's looking good, but so far it's still just in the blockout phase. So it's sort of just positioning, there's an area for people to challenge each other. There'll be a marketplace area. There'll be areas for shops and things like that we're going to be implementing that from partnerships and other people who want to have their digital space within the world. So yeah, it's really coming together a lot, and we're going to be moving soon. We're hoping that we can start doing the internal testing with the rest of the team by next week, and then hopefully very soon after that we'll be releasing it through to everybody. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, now we can actually jump on. I can fight you.
Yeah, exactly. That's gonna be exciting, man. And I love that you can see there in there he's hollering at people, talking to people in the market, which is always fun to see. And yeah, I can't wait to see what we do there. And obviously talking about the clothes and everything, that obviously we'll have the avatars you can buy with the NFTs, like you mentioned, that will be able to go beyond the vanilla skins everyone will have. So that'll be cool.
A little bit of alpha here, a sneak peek info. We've basically locking in the artists that we're going to be using for our player avatar drop. So we'll be working through with sort of the concepts that we kind of designed before, and work with them to move forward with it. And they're going to be putting together sort of the base and then starting to set up the traits and things. So we are moving forward in the background with that NFT drop. That's going to be that first NFT drop of the project, really. We've got the mint passes, obviously, but that's more like a early access, early backer VIP sort of system that we haven't had a 10K drop yet. We haven't had our project's big one yet. So yeah, that's coming up pretty soon. So
awesome. Love to hear it.
In weeks to come, we'll slowly start to leak, and as long as everything's going smoothly, we'll let everybody know the rest of it. So,
nice. Well, you gave me a little gem here on the end of this clip, because it goes to Ross fighting in the market, and that leads us to our next topic, which was Obviously, like you mentioned, being able to challenge players and jump to a certain level, or maybe just right there you throw down in the market, whatever that end level ends up looking like. But right now, as you'll see at the end of this clip, you'll see Ross and some new button layout. So maybe some of these moves we're seeing are part of that new combo, that new skill set that Ross is showing for the new build. So tell us more about that.
Yeah, that'll be in there as well. Yep. So we've got, like I said, it's sort of like a quick attack, heavy attack, and then special. And there will be a sort of a super that uses the gauge. We haven't really completely implemented yet, which will do some more like cinematic shots. They're a little bit more like complicated to implement, and they require a lot more like animation and smoothing and everything like that. So we're gonna be putting it in as soon as we start to get those features done. But until then, it's still got there's still a decent amount of attacks you can do. The special, for example, at the moment, it's not quite balanced. Like there's probably a few things that you can pull off that I don't expect to continue being in the build moving forward. They might change by the time we actually, but because some of the abilities are a little bit, what I'd say, not broken, but probably a little bit unbalanced. So, but we will be fixing that up. And then something else I didn't mention is that we've also added some emotes into the lobby as well. So if you hold down a particular button on the control pad, you can sort of wave, cheer, or do all those kinds of things. We're going to be adding more and more emotes, and we'll probably end up actually making a UI for them so that you can select from a radial menu or something.
Nice.
And when you chat in the box, your character gesticulates. So that's put in that little clip as well.
Right. And finally, in regards to the PvP play and that sort of thing that we're building, we are kind of opening up this new idea of rewards we'll get for that. So can you tell us a little bit more about how that's maybe developed from what we were planning before, and how close we are to implementing that? Will that come out right with the PvP action? Yeah,
it won't come out with it straight away. We've got to make sure that everything's working back in. The most important part is verifying that the actual match was successful and that nobody cheated. And then that, because obviously if we're going to be giving people rewards, we don't want people to be abusing that system. We don't expect a lot of players to, but there'll probably be a few people out there who try.
Always.
But basically, more or less, the way that we do that, just to get into a little bit technical about it, is that both of the players' inputs are obviously, because we've got the rollback netcode as well, the deterministic nature of it is that you can replay the match if you have all the inputs. If one client says, at frame 2000, I hit punch, then if we capture all those to the game server, which we've currently got the connection to at the moment, we capture all those, we save them off, and then we can more or less get the server to replay the match really quickly, because obviously it's not restricted to our perception of time. It can just go as fast as it wants to. So you could do that within a couple of milliseconds and be like, yep, okay, both clients have the same information. It all matches up. There wasn't any weird foul play going on. There wasn't any one of them telling me that they've sent or done something that they shouldn't have been doing. Because you can do that with packet manipulation, stuff like that. And if that's verified, then we can say, yep, okay, cool, winner is the winner, and send them off to get their prize. And the whole happens back end pretty quickly, and then we'll come back to the player and say, you got your point. So part of that process we want to do is have fight points. So before we actually generate the token, we want to have fight points, and then fight points will be able to be exchanged at a particular ratio, depending on what we choose. So you can generate however many fight points a day, and then technically that's worth the fight coin once we release the fight coin. And we also want to have the ability potentially for players to wager these fight points. So you get the fight points, then we'll have a little system where when you challenge somebody, you can say, well, I don't want to just challenge you. Normally, I want to challenge you with a wagered match, and then you can both bet how many. And exactly. So that can be ballsy. You could wager a lot of points to try and get some points out of somebody else. We'll also hopefully have a leaderboard showing how many, the person who earned the most points today, or the person who has the most points in total. And that hopefully we're trying to get that to display in the lobby itself. So it'll flash up and show the avatar of the player name with how many points that they managed to get. Nice. But that'll be something that we're working towards implementing, again, because it's more about setting up the back end and the networking. Networking, basically, anytime you design anything, you're like, yeah, cool, that works. Now, networking makes it take X amount of longer to implement, because you've got to go through and make sure everything's communicating properly. There's no errors with the communication, that there's not some weird bugs or anything, and that it's synced across all the clients. And it just takes it so much longer to actually develop. Crazy, yeah.
Well, it's looking great. Can't wait till we get in there and start throwing down. And then, of course, right after that will come esports. You know, more and more tournaments and things like that that will be streamed.
Yeah,
So that'll be
we've
awesome.
actually already been talking recently with Will about that as well with the tournaments. Right now, obviously, we probably have to be manual rather than like having a system that is able to do it itself. We want to implement, obviously, a system that will do it itself pretty soon. But while we're waiting for that to happen, we can still do like manual stuff. The main consideration is how we can spectate the two fights. So we don't obviously we want to be able to do that with one person being able to stream it rather than having the two people like ask them to stream or anything. So one of the ways that we'd have to do that is, again, set up the game server to have a relay server where it actually sends the signal to another server, and then you can connect to that, and then we can either Twitch stream that, or we can play around with maybe even, again, streaming it into the lobby. Like, I'm not 100% sure about what level of implementation that would require, but we're having a look at different things that we could potentially be testing. So yeah, that'll be the way that we want to do it, and then the way that we have to do it until we get there might be a little bit different.
Well, that's exciting for me. That's where I'll be coming in to like host the esports events. And
yeah, that'll be epic.
And you know, be hopping on, controlling OBS or whatever we use. There's all kinds of things. Obviously, once we get rolling, we'll be able to invest in some other, you know, something other than OBS, which is pretty like bare bones, to make things a little bit easier for smaller production crews. But yeah, it's all starting up. So exciting news there. I also heard you mention before we went live, we're kind of working on the concourse for the stadiums. Would you consider that, or just like whatever the PvP area would be?
Yeah, so there's going to be two. There's going to be two sort of areas. There's going to be like a lobby sort of PvP area where you can. It's almost like, I get the vibes anyway that it's like Muscle Beach. You know how like you got like people will work out and like challenge each other for like competitions on like, you know, yeah, it'll be like that. Like it's this this lobby area. Everyone's showing off. Everyone's fighting each other. That's where all the cool kids hang out and try to like, you know, kick each other's ass. Yeah. But then we're going to have like a PvP concourse sort of lobby area as well. Hopefully that will be like the inside of the, not the inner chamber of the arena, but like, you know how when you go into an arena and there's often like a lobby area before you approach and get inside. I want to basically, more or less, my idea is having like a concourse inside there that has all the like tournament stuff inside there as well, all the matchmaking and things like that. So we want to make it as easy as possible for the players, so there'll be a way to just fast travel to that place, so it's not like you have to.
It could be like a sports book too, where people could could meet up virtually and like watch the fights while betting on them and stuff like that.
Yeah, you totally could do that. Yeah, exactly. You could do like betting terminals and things like that. So that we more or less want to have like an interface in an area specifically for like, okay, this is the tournament area. This is where all of the like ranked stuff occurs. Out casually in the lobby, that's where all of them, like, you know, general matchmaking or just like, you know, kicking your friend's ass happens. So yeah, that'll be like what we're designing. We're sort of, there's so many different like parts of the environments we're designing. We've only got one like designer at the moment who's doing it, so he's obviously working piece by piece and working it through and doing like one pass and then doing second passes, and so we're going to be waiting for that. But yeah, it'll be really cool once it starts to get into the game.
Awesome. Yeah, well, all this is super exciting. Hopefully we'll have a lot more down the road to show everyone. Make sure everyone obviously is following here wherever you're watching. Twitter, we got Twitch. Oh, by the way, let me mention, we got Anton shouting out over on Twitch. Hey, what's up, Anton GM over there? Had a great, very interesting live session earlier where they were talking about investment stuff and
rock stars
stuff. It was great. So yeah, I'd love to have you here. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Dizzley, thank you so much again. Yeah, man, it was great. Love it. Very valuable stuff. We always, you know, even no matter
loving
the
this
market,
update, guys.
We want to
smiley face.
have people, you know, giving people, education, some sort of value, right? Whether you know, while we're back here building, but now. It's time to start sharing the goods, baby. So everybody get ready. It's time, right?
Have you got the I was wondering, did we show the like work in progress of the gym customization?
Yeah, I don't know why I jumped forward. No, we didn't. Let's go to that. Good question. I'm all wrap it up. Yeah. So I forgot about that. Yeah. We got so into the other stuff, I got excited. So we do have one more thing to show you guys. Yeah, like you said, get into it. Tell us a little bit more about, you know, customization. I see guys dragging stuff around. This is gonna be very exciting. And when will this kind of be brought up and
yeah, so basically, as you can see, like more or less, if we're watching the videos at the moment, you as your character will be able to go inside the gym space. This is all obviously really work in progress. I haven't done any of the lighting. None of the arrangements are done. We're just basically using it as a platform to build the mechanic. But basically, more or less, you've got customization you can do with the gym. So the gym will be sort of start off in a pretty rundown state. And what the idea is that you can turn this gym, this space, into something that you can be proud of, with all of the things that you earn from your achievements, all the different cosmetics that you either collect or purchase, etc. Right. And then you'll be able to sort of flesh it out. So I imagine some people's gyms looking like complete palaces by the end of it. I can imagine some looking really straight. Like you'll be able to basically pick and choose what kind of aesthetic you want to do with it. And I'm really kind of once we start to bring out all the different items that you can get and then put into this space, I really am like keen to see what like people end up creating, because people can get really creative. I've noticed that like a lot with other games that support this kind of like customization of like a personal space, and people just go nuts and they figure out all these weird little things that they can put items into positions or like mess around with the system to create these like incredible spaces. So this once this is obviously in, it'll work by saving all the data to the server whenever you play something, and then the data will basically be sent back. And hopefully what we can do is we can have other users select your space and come into it and actually see your gym as well, so you can hang out within the gym as well. Sure. And obviously only the person who owns the space will be able to edit and customize it, but hopefully there'll be cool things that you can interact with as well as we continue to flesh out this mechanic. But yeah, this is just like a work in progress shots to show you that like what's happening with the detection of like how you can place the objects, and there'll be floor objects, wall objects, and we're hoping to even have like customizable canvases potentially that you can either import art or use NFT art, and it'll like download it into the game and display it. So it'll be really cool to see what people come up with through that.
Yeah, you'd be able to like connect your MetaMask wallet and maybe display whatever you have in there NFT-wise.
Well, we already have, once players like set up their accounts, they'll already have their wallet connected. So yeah, it'll bring up all the NFTs they own, and we can grab all the the PNGs, the JPEGs, and basically give the person the option to pull it in, play around with it, resize it, put it on the wall, if they've got a canvas for it. Things like that.
Ideas. So I've been kind of bridging I'm trying to become like the bridge between NFT gaming and NFT music, because like NFT music is really big, and I love that scene. And so I've been talking about it a lot. We've talked a lot here in past episodes about how we're going to implement music, and so I definitely need like the Bluetooth speaker, to go in there. But then as we're talking about the NFTs, I've been in that world so much that there's a lot of really cool digital art that has a special, unique track from an artist connected to it. Either the artist is doing a collab with an artist, or they're directly releasing it, and like someone's doing like the album cover for them, essentially, like back in the day, except like it's digital art now. So I can imagine that not only is it just visual art that's going up there, but maybe I have some sort of NFT music art that I put up there, and I can select when it's playing and not, or switch.
That's
to
cool.
my, like, wallet.
That'd be awesome. That'd be like you say. That'd be cool just to have like more or less like a jukebox mechanic, but also having like potentially if you have a piece that's connected to that, and then the player could run up to it and even like click to listen to it, the track or whatnot. I mean, we'll see what's possible, but that sounds pretty damn cool to me. Like, so it'd be really interesting to see like that kind of integration to the Web3 space.
Awesome. And we got NFT Gamers Lounge saying, let's go. Yo, what's up, guys? Thanks for popping in and saying hi up on their YouTube. I'm going to have to check you guys out. Make sure we're subscribing over to NFT Gamers Lounge. Yeah, awesome. So, again, these look cool. Can't wait to get in there and customize. I know that I'm already going to go for, like, the darker metal aesthetic kind of things. I'm going to need, like, some bloody, like, handprints to put on the walls or something like that.
I'll make sure I'll design some specifically with you in mind.
There you go. Yeah. Awesome.
Make it like a metalhead den.
Yeah. Well, okay, very cool. So this next week we're gonna be working on seeing more of this stuff, seeing more of the stadium, maybe hopefully. We got all kinds of things. So we actually talked a little bit about, I guess, the stadiums. Well, not this week, did we? No. Any updates there? Now that I'm just thinking about it.
Not just yet. I mean, we've been playing around with it in the back, but our priority is trying to get this build out. So, and the build at the moment won't be including the stadium, like just as yet. So, that'll be sort of soonish. But yeah, priorities are on the networking and getting the build ready for people to play test.
Okay. So, like as a final thing, just as far as the roadmap looks in the immediate future, it's kind of like getting the build out, getting the vertical finished, and then getting the first NFT drop out.
Yeah,
probably in that order.
That's yeah, pretty good. I mean, even the next NFT drop, we'll see. Like if it goes smoothly, it might be a little bit sooner than that. But yeah.
So all that'll be definitely by like the end of the year. We're going to be full steam and well beyond that, and making new plans.
Yeah, that's the plan. That's the hope. Yeah.
Sounds good, man. Love it. All right. Well, thank you again for joining. Thanks everyone who's watching.
Right, thanks for hosting.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And we're going to see you next week, next episode. Everyone, make sure you're hitting that like and follow button, and we'll see you around. Night.